Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aradhanam Bhagavata Ihamana Nirashisha Yetu Nechantyapi Param Te Svarta Kushala Smrita Aradhanam Bhagavata Ihamana Nirashisha Yetu Nechantyapi Param Te Svarta Kushala Smrita Aradhanam Bhagavata Ihamana Nirashisha Yetu Nechantyapi Param Te Svarta Kushala Smrita Aradhanam, the worship. Bhagavata, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ihamana, being interested in. Nirasisha, without material desires. Yea, those who. Tu, indeed. Naichanti, do not desire. Api, even. Param, liberation. Te, they. Svarta, in their own interest. Kushala, expert. Smrita, are considered. Translation. Although those who are interested only in worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not desire anything material from the Lord, and do not even want liberation, Lord Krishna fulfills all their desires. Purport. When Dhruva Maharaj saw Lord Krishna, he declined to take any benediction for him, for he was fully satisfied by seeing the Lord. Nonetheless, the Lord is so kind that because Dhruva Maharaj, in the beginning, had desired a kingdom greater than his father's, he was promoted to Dhruva Loka, the best planet in the universe. Therefore, in the Shastra it is said, Akama sarvakama va moksha kama udharati. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether is full of material desires, free from material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 2.3.10. One should engage in full devotional service. Then, even though he has no desires, whatever desires he previously had can all be fulfilled simply by his worship of the Lord. The actual devotee does not desire even liberation. Anyavilashita shunyam. The Lord, however, fulfills the desire of the devotee by awarding him opulence that will never be destroyed. A karmi's opulence is destroyed, but the opulence of a devotee is never destroyed. A devotee becomes more and more opulent as he increases his devotional service to the Lord. So this is the reciprocation between the Lord and the devotees. The devotee is simply trying to please Krishna. He has no other purpose. And so the Lord, then reciprocating, has no other purpose but to please the devotee. So this relationship can go on very nicely based on this friendship, this feeling of friendship. So, because when we engage for our own purpose, and that's all we have in mind, then mechanically it's an effort. We use our intelligence, we make an effort, we see that we're getting the proper result that we want. But it can't have any taste, because Ananda doesn't mean situations. Ananda means relationships with individuals. It's very important. This is not understood basically. Means there are little pockets here and there of wisdom that pop up, and if you say them, people appreciate, but the normal way of thinking, it's just not thought like this. Because it's thought, if I gain a situation, I'll be happy. But a situation only takes care of sat for the living entity. And that endeavor, using intelligence, endeavor, getting results, that takes care of chit. But Ananda doesn't mean that I got the situation. Ananda means how the situation was used in relationship to other living entities. That's Ananda. So simply, I'm happy because I got something, that's not actually happiness. That's simply removal of the pain of not having it. That's all it is. It means it's a disturbance that you don't have it. When you get it, that disturbance is removed. We call that happiness. But as we can see, it only deals with sat and chit of the living entity. So the living entity can never actually be satisfied by this endeavor. Right? Only when there is dealings on the level of relationship can there be some satisfaction. Right? And so then the problem comes up is, yes, okay, we have so many families, so many friends, social elements, but these are all connected to the body. They're not connected to the soul. Right? The soul is connected with the Lord. The soul is connected with the devotees. But the soul is not related to the devotees on the conditional platform. Right? We marry conditionings. Conditionings produce more conditionings. We expand out into all the variety of social conditionings. Those aren't the soul. So even though they're an appropriate situation, but they can't actually address the need of Ananda of the soul, because again, they're still just situations. The body is a situation. So if I put two situations together, it's still just a situation. Okay, I have my boat, my yacht, and we're living up somewhere north. It's cold and freezing, so now down south it'll be nicer, so I take my yacht down to someplace south where it's nice. So what do I have? I have my yacht, a situation, down in a nice place, a situation. Where's the Ananda? Does it make sense? It's just science, right? This is hard science, right? This is real hard science. Modern day hard sciences simply means analyzing the situation ad infinitum. But it still will not give Ananda. It still doesn't dress the soul. So therefore, unless the relationship is based on Krishna consciousness and seen in connection with Krishna consciousness, there actually cannot be any Ananda. No matter how perfect the arrangements are, how perfectly it unfolded, how perfectly the results were, it's still only situations and manipulating the situations. So the point here is that Krishna is reciprocating. It's not based on situations, because we see the devotee doesn't want anything, but the Lord's giving. Right? The devotee serving Krishna, so using situation, but it's about Krishna. It's not about what will be gained. That's pure devotional service. This is the speciality of Krishna consciousness, pure devotional service. All the other things are nice. If you can arrange nice situations, great. But if anybody thinks that simply by the arrangement, that will make everything work perfect, everyone will be happy, their intelligence is not broad enough. It says here, a person who has broader intelligence. In other words, we're not saying that people of this world are not intelligent. Right? So many intelligent people in the world. They do amazing things. But it still is only playing with situations. Playing with their words, playing with their money, playing with other arrangements, controlling people, controlling all different kinds of things, and coming up with amazing stuff. But it's intelligent, but it's limited. It's not broad intelligence. It's very narrow, because it's only about sat and chit. And this being in the perverted form, then it's, it will be passion and ignorance. That's as good as it gets on the material platform. Right? Goodness means we function according to Shastra. That's then the possibility we can elevate ourselves from goodness to pure goodness, which means actually dealing with Ananda. Right? We're actually seeing Sat and Chit in connection with the Lord. We're dealing with the Lord on the platform of He's a person, He likes things done in a particular way. And because of that, that will make the devotion. Because if we're just arranging situations, then what's the big deal? For Krishna, arranging situations, we're arranging a little bit in our sphere. And it's nice, it's amazing. We have to remember that whatever sphere it's being done in, the person doing it is 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. That's pretty amazing. Right? But Krishna is arranging the cosmos. So arrangements for him are not, he just desires that it's happening. Not it will happen. It's going on. As he desires, it's happening. His energies just carry it out. So situations do not impress Krishna. Skill does not impress Krishna. What impresses Krishna is the devotion. Right? But now, because Ananda is there, Ananda is engaging the results of your activities. So that means there must be an activity. That means there must be knowledge and skill. But it's not about the knowledge and skill. It's about, I've taken this knowledge and skill and I'm using it to please Krishna. So it's not that I have more knowledge and skill, that makes me a greater devotee. No. Again, we're falling back into the principle of thinking that Sat and Chit is enough. But we have to remember, Sat is the Brahman platform. Chit is Paramatma platform. So basically, in the material world, no one gets past these two. It just doesn't happen. The great sages, great yogis, great scholars, they never get past these two. Only someone in devotional service, actual devotional service, parampara, pure devotional service, they get past, they get to Ananda. Therefore they're satisfied. The soul is complete. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you do, how great it is, or how special it is. It's still not special enough because it doesn't address the full needs of the soul. So if someone takes that platform, then Krishna arranges all the external or the situations that one wants or may have wanted. Right? And those go with the conditioning, so they match the conditioning. You're going to engage in conditioning Lord's service. So since it's connected, it doesn't matter. Therefore, the devotees become more and more opulent as time goes. But the real opulence is that their connection to Krishna, their love for Krishna. That's actually a substantial opulence. But otherwise, their knowledge, their detachment, these are the next, and then after that, then you see the other aspects, beauty, the, power, fame. These things, they all come up. So these things come as a side point. If you actually have affection for someone, you make arrangements. Not that because you made the arrangements, that's there. The arrangements can show the affection, but the arrangements aren't the affection. Because otherwise, if the arrangements were the affection, then why is it that 70% of your arrangements walk away from you if you happen to be a resident of Southern California? You understand? So it's not affection. Arrangements aren't affection. They're a medium for it. And the only medium. But they're only a medium. They're not something else. Just like you buy milk in a carton. Sorry, any vegans out there. You know? You buy almond milk in a carton. Right? So the carton, is the carton what's important? And why do you buy that almond milk? Oh, the carton's so fabulous. You know, it's all about the carton. You know, so, what about the milk? Milk? We don't drink the milk. We throw that out. We just keep the carton, right? You come to the house, it's lined up all the different, almond milk cartons. Like that. Yeah? I'm just thinking, we laugh that you go into some Hindu houses and they do have all the hard liquor bottles lined up. Like that. So it's a medium. So what's important always has a medium through which it's expressed. You can't express something important without a medium. Right? Like we're discussing topics of Krishna, so therefore we're using language. We're using the forum of this class. But the point is, the topic about Krishna, that's what's important. The other things are not actually important. Right? They become important when they're connected to Krishna. Otherwise, for the materialist, they make so many seemingly important and wonderful arrangements, amazing arrangements. But the problem is they all have no meaning because they're just situations. Right? And so, therefore, based on lust, it's about the situation. Love means it's about the interaction. So that's what's happened to the living entity. Developing, giving up, not taking up love for Krishna. They've taken up lust. And so they move in the opposite direction. They think I'm the controller and enjoyer. That's that's situational. If I say I'm the controller and enjoyer, that's situational. Right? That's not relationship. Does that make sense? So that's what happens. So then the Krishna conscious about how to reverse that trend. We use the facilities. We endeavor for facilities only because they will generate something nice for Krishna. But without that, then one can have the world. It still will not be enough. Right? Why? Because it doesn't address the needs of the soul. Even you have the universe, Indra, is he satisfied? No. Brahma? No. So that's as good as it gets. So therefore, Prabhupada is saying is that the devotee, because he's committed to Krishna, then his opulences, they're always growing, always expanding. But that's because he's always using all that for Krishna. Right? That makes it perfect. Okay. Any questions or comments on this? Yes. Use that little. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Your pious credits have now fructified. Okay.
Maharaj, my question is in regards with Ananda.
Ananda.
We see that when we do something for Krishna, he always reciprocates. There's always reciprocation. Something, you get maha from the deities or something always goes on.
Yes.
So, is this still situation or is it Ananda?
No, the point is is it just about having gotten the maha, or is that Krishna arranged it?
Krishna arranged it.
So that's the Ananda. The maha is the situation through which he's appearing. But you have to appreciate that the maha is Krishna, and it's arranged by Krishna. Right? It's just like when it's going, how you say? You see those trains going from Gujarat up to Udaipur. What do they say on the side?
From Srinath to Srinath.
Yes. So that's the whole thing, is going the other way, it's also. Right? The Lord, it's from Him, and it's for pleasing the devotees. It's for the relationship with the devotees. Yeah. So that's the part that is. That means, that's why we're saying is the situation is non-different, but it's non-different in the secondary aspect. Right? It's important. You have to have it. Just like you have money, but how do you know you have money? Right? If I ask you, you have money, how much money do you have? What do you have to do?
Spend your receipt where you can use it.
No, you see where you use it, but how do you know if you have it? Look in your pocket. Okay, so what will be in your pocket? Is money in your pocket, or is pieces of paper in your pocket?
Pieces of paper.
Yes, but they're the medium for money. You understand? Yes. So that's the thing, is that the two go together. Krishna and his energies are non-different, but it's still about Krishna. If we take the energies without Krishna, that's called Maya. Right? And if we take Krishna without his energies, that's Brahman. Or at best, a touch of Paramatma, maybe. But when it's about Krishna, the person, with his energies, persons, interacting as persons, that's Ananda. You understand? So it's more. In the beginning, since we only see secondary, we talk about secondary. So that's why we engage. It's not about the secondary, right? It's about the primary. But that doesn't mean we make the focus on the secondary. We may do that as neophytes because that's all we know. If you make a philosophy out of that, it's for neophytes. It's not an advanced philosophy. Because the point is why would I do something? Because Krishna likes it. That's why I do it. Why do we eat what we eat? Because that's what Krishna eats. We can say I don't like this, I don't like that, but the point is Krishna likes it. It's Krishna's. He doesn't see things from a social, political point of view. It's his. So I said, just like, let's say you have something, it's yours. Someone else doesn't deal with it nicely. Does that mean now you don't use it? It's yours. Someone borrowed your car and, they didn't fill it up with petrol again, or they put a dent in the fender. Does that mean now you don't use it because you're so, feeling so bad and all that? He's masculine, not feminine. So this whole idea is, he can't use these things because they've been used bad. We're looking at that because we think pranamoya is supreme. We think the cooperation between individuals to procure better arrangements is the pinnacle of perfection. Right? That's a problem. But the real point is no, it has to be for Krishna. It's all Krishna's anyway. So are you using it in his service? That's what's important. Right? Does that make sense? So we're not vegetarians. Prabhupada points out we're Krishnatarian. Krishna likes us. That's why we give that to him. But it's all his anyway. People deal with it nicely or not. It's still his. And he's not going to ignore what's his, especially if it's sentient. You know what I'm saying? Let us say your child goes to school. People harass him at school. So does that mean when he comes home you won't deal with him? He's an abused child. Why should you don't? I don't deal with abuse. I don't believe in abuse. So therefore I won't deal with him. You understand? So this is a very, very narrow view. It's intelligent, but it's very narrow. It's based on pranamoy. It's not on dharma. What is my dharma to do? What am I supposed to engage in Krishna service? It's about my political views and what I think Krishna wants. But that's anthropomorphic. Right? It's deism. It's all kinds of things. It's not devotional service. Devotional service doesn't even come on the list. You understand? So the medium is important, but only because of its connection to Krishna. But you can't separate them. That's the thing. You can't separate them, but you can. Therefore, achintya beda beda tattva. Inconceivably one and different. We're not talking about you look at it this way or you can look at it that way. We're saying at one time you can look at it both ways. That's why our philosophy is more confusing. Because others it's one or it's two or it's a purified oneness. Not just ordinary one, it's a purified oneness. Or it's not just an ordinary, it's special oneness. Or yes, you can look at it as one. You can also look at it as two. So that means all those philosophies, but in Chinta Bheda Veda Tattva, it's one and different simultaneously, and that's inconceivable because it's Krishna. And we think we're so intelligent. So someone with broader intelligence, they can see it in connection with Krishna. So even if they have material desire, this and that, it's still they're turning to Krishna, seeing it in relation to Krishna. That's broader intelligence. We don't see a connection with Krishna, that's narrow intelligence. So this broader intelligence is what we're trying to establish, right? That's what we want. Narrow intelligence, so many people have it, and they're so much better, right? But this broader intelligence, that's what's missing in the world. That is not what's had. No one has that. Only the Vaishnavas have that. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. Yes. All the way in the back there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for a very nice class. Okay. I was wondering, how do we know which is the appropriate extent to which we should try to make the arrangements to express our devotion to Krishna? Because sometimes we fall into two different types of extremes. One is that we say that it's all about the devotion, so therefore you can just do it in any
Do
way.
whatever you want, yeah.
And the other extreme is we have to make the arrangements so nice that sometimes we forget the devotion. So how do we know which is the right balance?
Rupa Goswami mentions this in the, Upadeshamrita. This is called Niyamagraha. So the pro-Vedic and the liberal, this is Niyamagraha. Right? It's got to be like this, or we don't have to do any of that. It doesn't matter. So one's based on impersonalism, that it's just about the mechanics of it, that I did the mechanics, I get the results. The other is that just it's easy. Whatever I think of, it happens, because I'm Satya Sankalpa. Right? You understand? So even though both of them have a point that's correct, it's incomplete because they don't have the point that the other one has. So broad-minded means it has both. See, if you're liberal, you're narrow-minded. Sorry to say. If you're conservative, you're narrow-minded. If you can accommodate the positive elements of both and see them together as one thing, that's broad-minded, because then you traverse the whole thing. That's what's there. You understand? So the point is if we say it's about the principle, it doesn't matter, then it's not a very intelligent, it's that they've understood that the essence is important, but how will that individual express that essence? How will they express it? It will be according to mental concoction. Guaranteed. They'll make up their own religion. It's guaranteed, 100%. Right? That's why there's tradition. Since it doesn't matter about the secondary, then for those who understood it doesn't matter and were liberated, how did they engage the secondary and the primary? That's called tradition. Anyone who bucks tradition is quite narrow-minded. They don't understand what they're messing with, what it's for, what it does. Tradition means is these persons who are realized, they serve Krishna. How did they serve Krishna? That's what Arjuna, when he first figures out that there's something beyond his just worrying about his relatives and about, who's going to be who's going to get the kingdom, then his first question is, how does such a realized person act? How do they act? How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they sit? That's the medium. Right? Otherwise, it's either tradition or mental concoction. You don't really have a choice there. Now, using our intelligence, we see what is the point of the tradition and accomplish that in whatever situation we are, because you don't always have ideal. But still, the point is the tradition is accomplishing the principle. Because just saying, oh, we can do whatever we like, but does anything get, let's say I want halava. If I take a bunch of cabbage and throw it in a pot, will I get halava? What about some sump oil, some dirt clods from the backyard? Kids like to play with them. They get out there and cook, so it must be good. You understand? That's the problem with mental speculation, is that it sounds great, but it actually has zero substance. It has no reality. Krishna says that in the second verse of the Chaturshloki. Anything not connected to him and seen like that is not reality. So, okay, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I forget Krishna, it's still Krishna. But when I'm dealing with things outside of those 5 direct activities of devotional service, I don't think of Krishna, they're not connected. My house, I see it in connection to Krishna, it's connected. I don't see it in connection to Krishna, it's not connected. It's that simple. So that's the point. If I'm dealing with the generator is the generator. But when I'm dealing with the electricity, depending on what I'm doing, I'm getting hot or I'm getting cold. Right? And if I don't connect it to the generator, it doesn't work. So it's a science. It's a very specific science, but it's so simple anybody can use it. But it's so sophisticated that no matter how developed you are and how refined or how detailed you want to get to, the formula applies. That's the perfection of the Vedic. The modern is each, as you adjust it 1 nanometer, you need a new formula. And then each formula contradicts the other and they can't work it out. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the medium's important, but that's why we start from what does the Vedas say? What does tradition say? And then what do the acharyas give us from that tradition? Right? Then we look at how I apply that in my life and make it work. But if we start with ourself, that's called the ascending process. Sad part about the ascending process, don't get distracted by the word. It doesn't ascend very far. While the descending process means for us to perceive it, means it had to have come from the spiritual world all the way here. That has effect. That's real. But this ascending process, it's really, really, really overrated. But popular. But it doesn't mean it's going to work. Does that make sense? Does that work? Okay. Something else? Yes.
She says, I may understand that what we eat is what Krishna likes, and therefore this is what I choose. Then how to explain this to other family members or other persons who are not into Krishna consciousness? They are not going to understand this. How can it be explained to them?
How can you explain to other family members about your particular dietary determinations, and they won't understand? They don't understand anything anyway, so don't worry about it. Right? They call it the generation gap, so it's always there. No one understands. Do brothers and sisters understand each other? No. The older brothers and sisters don't understand. Why would the adults have a chance? You understand? So in other words, you behave yourself, deal nicely with everybody, but do what you want. And if they want you around, they have to accommodate. And if they don't want you around, then they don't have to accommodate. It's simple. And if you let them know that, people tend to adjust really quickly. You know what I'm saying? Parents, somehow or another, they'll make so many adjustments if it means they're around their grandchildren. Right? They'll do that. Like that. If they just don't, and it's not about this, it's just you have your life and you've done it. They've had their life, they've chosen it, and if there's a good chance that stuff they do, their parents didn't appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Each generation thinks the previous one is crazy, if you're working on the Western platform. The Vedic is it's a tradition, therefore you can have thousands of years and it's not a problem. Like that. But the modern, it's guaranteed each generation changes. Otherwise, why is it not the same generation? Each generation's got a new name. You know, the ones that are so dyed-in-the-wool prana-moy, these are all your me generation. Right? Like that. The baby boomers, right? They're so committed to this. People before that, after that, you know, they're a little malleable on this. With the baby boomers, moy, they're like prana moy, you know, like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? So each generation is different. I don't know even what we're up to now. X, Y, Z, or Z. Okay, and then what do they do? Double A? They start over again? Double A generation. Z.1, Z.2. You know, it's just, you know, they'll think of something, right? Does that make sense? So in other words, be pleasant, be nice, and stick to whatever you're going to do. Adjust whatever you can, but you don't have to give up what you're doing. Otherwise, if they don't accept you as a person, why even be involved? You accept them as a person, so they should accept you. But that means they eat what they want, you eat what you want. And they shouldn't comment about how you're not eating what they're eating. One of the easiest ways to get around this is you cook. Right? Then, you know, and especially if you wash the dishes, then it's really good. You know? Then they won't complain at all about anything you eat, right? Yeah. Does that work? Something else? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. I just have a question in regards to, okay, it's not about... Yeah, so it's not about the secondary and it's about the primary. But sometimes we are with this feeling that, for example, we cook something for Krishna. And at the time of the offering, we feel that we could have done something better, you know, because there's always something better that you can offer to Krishna. So you are always going to have this feeling that, you know, I could have done it better, but you don't have the medium to do it.
No, but the point is it's about you do your best with the medium that's there, and if you can get better, you'll take it. And you can always feel, you wanted this, that, but, this is what you have, so kindly accept it anyway.
So the feeling it's okay. I mean,
because the point is it about the relationship with Krishna, or is it about that we're the worst, most terrible, most disgusting, most useless person in the cosmos? You know what I'm saying? What's the central point? The central point is Krishna, then okay, we're a rat bag, but the rat bag's trying to do something for Krishna, and this is what we can do. So even though it's not enough, please accept it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So in other words, our lack of confidence shouldn't get in the way of serving Krishna. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the auspicious moment has come for ending the class. Before anybody else walks out, so we'll end now and to maintain our dignity, right? Okay. Sorry. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki, Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi.